Hey Halo followers, today we will be looking over 10 things we learned from the Halo 5 multiplayer beta. At number 10, the default control scheme is counterintuitive. The first thing we noticed upon booting up the beta is that the control scheme they give you is counterintuitive at best and in your way at worst. Many suffer due to a button press doing something that they weren't expecting to happen. Some might expect this to be due to us being used to the other Halos, considering we have played the other Halos a lot more than the Halo 5 beta, but upon asking some non-Halo fans, we discovered that they had problems too with the controls. Eventually, we realized that the best control scheme was the Halo 4 control scheme, as it makes thrusters easy to access and makes a ground pound as the default one as well, which is good because the ground pound feels like an aerial crouch that can kill. The main problem seems to be that 343 wanted to emphasize smart scoping by mapping it in the grenade button, which brings us to number 9. And at number 9, smart scoping is not nearly as necessary as one might think, or at least us before we got our hands on the beta. From a glance, smart scoping sounds like ADS, aim down sights, and ripped straight from Call of Duty or Battlefield, and would be essential. The difference here is that in Call of Duty, when you get shot, you still keep your aim, but in Halo 5, when you get shot, you descope and return to hipfire, which functions as it did in the previous Halos. There were also plenty of times in the beta where we tried to use a smart scope on the battle rifle at mid-range, but lost to someone who was using hipfire on the same weapon at the same range. For these reasons, we would highly recommend using the Halo 4 control scheme and setting the scope to toggle in order to de-emphasize it. And at number 8, Prometheans are pretty much confirmed to return in Halo 5 Guardians, to some extent. This one was confirmed a week too, and even further before that in a few photos. When the light rifle though was made available in the beta, it made us wonder, are the Prometheans going to return? To what extent Prometheans will play in the story, and whether or not the weapons featured in Halo 4 will return in Halo 5, such as the bolt shot, is still unknown. However, the light rifle is an indicator that the weapons will be modified in some way. Whether or not these will function as tier 2 weapons is also unknown, but it is also something to look forward to nonetheless. And at number 7, Legendary Weapons. Legendary weapons are introduced on the Truth map and are essentially upgraded versions of the power weapons like the Energy Sword, which is now the Prophet's Bane. The extent of which weapons will be upgraded is still unknown as of now, but some of us at HaloFollower have our fingers crossed for the original rocket launcher to return as a legendary weapon. And at number 6, Forge Worlds? Maybe. With the introduction of Pegasus as well as Orion, we got our first look at the Forge templates and a possible new version of Forge World from Halo Reach, although it would appear to be unfinished at this time, but we can expect it to be finished by the time Halo 5 makes its rounds at E3, RTX, and Comic-Con, and of course, definitely the release date. Hopefully this isn't the only map, but one other thing that has been pretty much confirmed is at least 2 versions of this Forge World, which brings up some question if there's a time of day modifier on maps, not just the Forge Worlds, but possibly the other maps as well. And at number 5, we learned of the map Remixes. On the top of the new maps for Halo 5, we also have remixes of some of the new maps, with Truth's Crash Landing becoming Regret, or Empire at night becoming Eden, which is actually Eden becoming Empire. You see, actually Empire is the remix. Whether every map will get a remix is still unknown at this point, but we do know that the maps are radically altered to the point where they become near unrecognizable from their original counterparts, with Eden being the best example of this. And at number 4, pro playing is rewarded with medals. One thing we notice is that a lot of pro moves now have medals, which highlight that you pulled off these moves, with a most notable one being the perfect kill, which involves 3, 4, and 5 shotting enemies with a light rifle BR and DMR respectively. There's also a Hail Mary for a long range grenade kill, snapshot for the sniper rifle no scopes, and a BXR for doing the infamous melee BR combo. And at number 3, flinch is a nightmare. Yes, we know, flinch is going to be removed in the final game, but given the amount of deaths suffered because of flinch, we think it's worth pointing out. If being descoped wasn't bad enough, precision weapons become practically useless once flinch is thrown into the battle, as it becomes near impossible to hit anything. This problem becomes incredibly apparent in week 2 when the BR was your main weapon, and given how tight that weapon is opposed in the Halos 2, 3, and 4, you can see how the death is incredibly common. This leads easily to a lot of lost games, which leads us to number 2. And on our countdown, the number 2 thing that we learned in Halo 5's beta is the ranking system is twofold and flawed. No, I'm not talking about how the SR ranking is terrible like it was in Halo 4, because that's no longer how Halo determines how well you play. No, we're talking about the medal-based system. Each match you win, you gain points based on how well you do, and that nets XP towards a medal. But if you lose matches, you lose XP for the medal. Problem is that it's based on matches instead of the KD ratio, which means that if you're lone wolfing and your team sucks, it means that you are being dragged down due to their skill. Although this could simply be because there's no Rumble Pit mode, as teamwork is more vital as it was in the traditional Halo team matches, which leads us to number 1. And at number 1, the return of Arena-style Slayer, what Halo was really built upon. Halo 4 seemed to de-emphasize Arena-style Slayer's strengths, such as map control and communication with things like tactical packages and weapon call-ins. Halo 5 brings back the Arena-style Slayer to a ridiculous degree. A team that can communicate well will steamroll any team that can't, in games that can be as bad as a score of 5 to 50. With that being said, skill is highly rewarded, and there's no last minute saves that can be called in, and as someone got enough assist, it's just you and your rifle. It's a right combination of the old and new, and we at HaloFollower hope that it kicks off with a Halo renaissance. Anyways guys, what have you thought about the beta? What are your honest opinions? And if you want to, rate it out of 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. Let me know down in the comments below, and definitely like this video up if you've enjoyed, and subscribe here on HaloFollower for all your Halo news and entertainment. Of course, all the way up to the release date as well. We have your back with all the Halo news you could possibly want here on HaloFollower, as well as HaloFollower.com. If you want to get partnered, paid, and enjoy the benefits here on YouTube of being partnered, then be sure to apply with TGN. Catch you guys next time, and peace out.